When we look at Tocqueville, it's important to remember that he is talking about modern democracy. And he's aware that he's talking about modern democracies which are different from ancient democracies. Okay? So in a lot of the rhetoric and self-conception of modern democracies, there's the idea that it's continuing the heritage of the classical world, particularly the heritage of some of the Greek city-states and of Rome. But there are some important differences. First of all, in ancient Greece, democracy did not mean you voted for your rulers. Right? Quite the opposite. Right? Democracy meant you chose people for political office by lot. Essentially, you threw a bunch of names in a hat and drew one out, and that's who was going to be the leader or have a certain political office. Another difference is that ancient democracies did not allow everyone to participate. Right? When they threw everyone's name in the hat, it was the name of free male citizens. Athens had lots of slaves. Right? And of course, they didn't give equal franchise to women, right? Etc. Right? And to recent immigrants as well. Right? So this idea of every adult having an equal vote and electing your representatives, that was not ancient democracy. Right? There were freedoms, at least for the non-slaves, right? But they didn't have the same idea of individual liberties being central to democracy that we tend to have today. Right? So when we talk about democracy, we usually mean democracy with a lot of individual freedoms. Right? That's a modern concept, and it's a new thing in the world. We could also add, many people will point out, it was also a new thing to try to implement democracy on a large scale. Right? So one of the questions that came up for the defenders of the Constitution was, can you have a federal republic? That is, at least, can you have a republic on the scale of the 13 colonies, the United 13 colonies? And a lot of people said no, and they opposed the Constitution for that reason. Right? And interestingly enough, one of the things that the proponents of the Constitution said was, look, all of these states are too large for a republic by traditional standards. Okay. So again, it's important to remember, Tocqueville is aware of himself as looking at a very new thing and trying to figure out how it's going to work in practice.